Hello everyone, very good morning, good afternoon and good evening to all of you. This is your host Vaibhav. In today's session of correlation and regression, we will be looking at the dollar strength if we consider the move so far, particularly after the start of the European trading session. We have seen dollar gaining in strength against most of the major currencies. I think we can call the exception of euro, which is peculiar, but other major currencies are trading on the softer side, and euro seems to be giving up some of those earlier gains. It is in a consolidation phase on the higher levels, and USDJPY has also gone on to touch newer highs in today's session. So I think the best combination can be found in the currency cross like euro JPY. So we can combine the relative strength of the momentum on both sides and get the best possible combination to exploit the momentum and take advantage of that while having higher probability for our trade. So let us now head to the JForex 4, the newly released trading platform from the Dukascopy Bank SA. This is the chart of the Euro USD where I have defined the candle period of 5 minutes each. This Donchian channel 24 is in place to get the range of last 2 hours, and the Donchian channel 48 to get us the range of last 4 hours. Also, to look at the price moves, this SMA 24 and SMA 12 is in place to get us the average price prevailing over last 2 hours and 1 hour respectively. Now, as I said, the euro has been one of the outliers, particularly after this turnaround from the lows of around 1.086. It went on to rise around 50 pips. But since then, it is also simply consolidating with not much of a move. The range has narrowed. But if we look at the other currencies, there is this contrasting picture. If we see other major currencies, they were weaker even prior to this rally on the higher side, and even after the rally, most of the gains have evaporated. This is almost true for all major currencies. Of course, exception is also there. So, in case of AUDUSD, it was also trading on the softer side, and then this move toward this prior swing high, and again it is back to where it was, trading closer to this lower range. So this can be said the major trend for today's session where there is no actual significant trend. It is simply a phase of consolidation with the bias in favor of the dollar. The dollar has largely remained on the upswing, and if we have to take advantage of the dollar's upswing, I think USD JPY is one of the instrument which has traded with this surge after this prior decline. If we look at the start of the European trading session, there was this decline of almost 100 pips within the span of 10 to 15 minutes. But since that fall, it has largely traded and it is back to where it was and trading closer to this highest point of the day. So the near-term momentum is in the favor of the upswing, and that is something which we have to keep in mind while looking for the trading opportunities. But one thing is also there that for last many days the USD JPY's gains have been capped around 130 level. So this time around it is going to be a different story, or if it is going to be the same story all over again, that is something only time can tell. But we can take the advantage of the situation regardless. All we have to do is get the range right and the momentum immediately before entering the trade. So right now the momentum is more favorable for the upswing, but if we see the USD JPY struggling and not really climbing past 130.5 level, and as and when we see some swift sharp move on the lower side with possibility of getting on the bandwagon, I think we can also start looking for the short selling trade. But then the question arises, if the JPY is the strongest instrument to trade with for that possibility, or if we have better opportunities somewhere else, so we have to get the correlational analysis done so that we get the momentum as well as the relative strength of the momentum right. So let's start doing that precisely now. The story so far after this initial jump has been of the dollar strength, and that is being repeated against major currencies also. Maybe exception is of euro. So you can say that the euro is having the best possible momentum against the dollar, and it is one of the most bullish currency in today's session against the US dollar. And if we have to go for any trade in euro USD, I would prefer to be long, and if it doesn't really decline much on the lower side, we can indeed start looking for the opportunities. Even now, I think we can keep an eye on the euro USD for a possible entry with the expected move toward this immediate swing high, if not more. Let's see other major currencies like AUD. For AUD, the consolidation phase is looking a bit more bearish. It has declined below the immediate swing low. So it looks like that the momentum is now slightly turning bearish after these many days of one-sided up moves. The AUD USD seems to have entered into a phase of consolidation and correction. So we are seeing some retracement from higher side. It has corrected almost 1 percentage point from this highest point, and in today's session, it has been one of the more bearish, or you can say a currency instrument which is in consolidation phase, but with a bearish bias. For euro, the consolidation is on, but with the bullish bias. For the AUD USD, the things are looking a lot more bearish. So there is this contrast. And if you want to go for any short sell trade, the first preference in that scenario is going to lie with AUD, and for the buy trade, the preference is going to be for the euro. But before we can be sure or so certain about that, we always have to consider other major currencies to see what's the story. The GBP is looking more bullish compared to the AUD, as it did make this swing high, which was higher than the prior high. The same is true for the euro also, but it is not true for the AUD. The AUD has been making lower highs and lower lows. Even the newer low for AUD is lower, but for GBP that's not really the case. But it is not exactly bullish either, so we have to place it in the middle. It is less bullish than the euro, but it is also less bearish than the AUD. So I think in such scenarios, it is better to leave it out and go with the instruments where we have much more clarity, and also the possibility tends to be on our side if we are on the side of the momentum. The NZD USD is not that bearish as is the case with its Asia Pacific peer AUD, and for NZD the consolidation phase is ongoing with these sideways moves for last couple of days. In today's session, it did make this immediate swing high, which is higher than the prior high. So I am more hopeful of the NZD USD. If we have to go for a buy trade, the NZD can also be kept in mind, but it is not that bullish as is the case with Euro. So it is also get eliminated on that count, and nor it is bearish. That is for AUD, so it gets eliminated on this count also. So it is better to sit on the sidelines for NZD USD and pay more attention to the AUD if you are looking for short selling trades, and Euro USD if you are looking for the buy trades. The momentum is at the moment with the US dollar, so that is going to be a key background while deciding to go for the entry point. Now the USDCAD is also turning the corner, and if we look at the charting for today's session, it has been making higher highs. That means the CAD is also on the bearish side against the US dollar, and it seems to be more bearish than even JPY. JPY has also traded on the weaker side, and as a result of that, the USD JPY has climbed quite well, but it has not gone on to make a fresh swing high, which is significantly higher. But for USDCAD, the story is looking a bit different, with it making a fresh swing high. No, on the hourly chart, it is still below this immediate swing high. Let's consider USDJPY. USDJPY is not really far off. Yes, the immediate momentum is much more on the bullish side for the USD-CAD compared to the USD-JPY. So we have this bearish tendency prevalent in the USD-CAD. Let's compare it with the AUDUSD. And AUDUSD is now in position to cross below this immediate swing low. So we have to place AUD as the most bearish one and ahead of the CAD also in that scenario. USDCHF is also on the upswing with these sharp moves happening on both sides. It declined sharply in just a matter of couple of hours. It declined half a percentage point, and those gains, those losses for USDCHF have now evaporated, and it is pretty much trying to climb past the immediate swing high. And if we have to look for the trades, the USDCHF is also a strong contender for the instrument with a strong bias. AUDUSD is just declining past immediate swing low, and for USDCHF it is almost similar. Let's check 32, and I think we have to put USDCHF even ahead of the AUDUSD. The CHF is looking a lot more bearish than AUD, and so we are reaching a conclusion where CHF is the most bearish currency against the dollar in today's session, whereas euro is the least bearish currency against the dollar. You can even call it bullish to some extent. It is not looking bearish, and if we consider this formation, it has broken this formation of lower highs, and now this low was also higher than the prior swing low. So keeping that in mind, it is better to avoid shorting the euro USD, and as I said, we have lot better momentum and much more clarity in the USD CHF and also AUD USD. So these are the currencies where you can expect the dollar to gain much more ground if the momentum persists. So that is the assessment looking at this formation of the major currency crosses. Now let's shift our gaze to the equity side. For the equity segment, the start for the day has been slightly bearish. We saw the Dow Jones Industrial Average starting on the lower side, just little below 34,000 in comparison to its close of the levels closer to 34,000. So there is not much of a difference. Just prior to the close of the Friday session, we had this sharp move lower, and that was kind of initiation of this correction phase, and it seems to be now coming to an end with the formation of the higher highs and higher lows for the Dow Jones Industrial Average. So it will be interesting to see if it is able to hold on to this immediate swing low, and how we see the things unfolding, particularly after the start of the US session where the volatility is going to increase significantly. So let's see if the Dow is going to be a instrument where we can go for a long trade, or if we have better opportunities with a lot more conviction elsewhere, like other major indices for the US. So this is the S&P 500, and in terms of the magnitude, its rise is less than half a percentage point, with this immediate swing high being made at 16.5 GMT. And if we look at the momentum of the Dow Jones Industrial Average, it made this high earlier compared to the S&P 500. And for Nasdaq, the things are looking lot less bullish. So in today's session, the table seems to have turned. For last many sessions, the Nasdaq has been one of the most bullish instrument to trade with in the equity space, whereas the Dow Jones has been the laggard and it has been trading with more bearish undertone. But in today's session, the Nasdaq is on the stronger footing, and we have the Dow is on the stronger footing, and Nasdaq is actually a laggard where it is not really able to climb much from the immediate swing low. Whereas if we look at the move of the Dow Jones Industrial Average after making these immediate swing low, it has been able to gain almost half a percentage point, not exactly, but close to half a percentage point. So keeping this in mind, we will have to give more preference to the Dow Jones Industrial Average if we are looking for the opportunities to go long. The things are not that bullish for the Nasdaq. It is better to avoid it. And as of now, it is not really a good idea to short it either. Maybe if we see sharp moves on the lower side after the start of the US session, then in next phase of correction and consolidation, we can start to look for the initiation of the short sale trade. But right now, if you have to go with the momentum, then it is much more favorable for a buy trade in Dow Jones Industrial Average. So pay attention to the price action after the start of the North American trading session, and the opportunities are likely to come your way. So before we wrap up the session, let us consider the price developments for the European equities. For European equities, the day has been mixed. We saw these sharp moves first on the lower side, then all those decline was not going to last, and we saw this reversal, but even it couldn't last, and we saw this sharp move again on the lower side just to see again another reversal later on. So in today's session, the story has been of sharp moves on both sides, but largely it has been a consolidation phase with this immediate swing low while being still above this prior swing low with this formation of higher high still in place. But if we have to go for any trade in the DAX right now, it is better to keep looking for the short selling trades given this move which has already happened from these lower levels. It has climbed toward this prior swing high, so pay attention to it, and if it doesn't really climb past this immediate swing high after due consolidation, we can indeed look for short selling trades here. So that's the story for the DAX. And let's consider FTSE 100. So here we have the FTSE 100 with much more bullishness. It is actually one of the most bullish instrument equity index to trade with in today's session. At the start, we had this sharp move on the lower side, but then this decline largely was reversed, and we are seeing the sustained move on the upside. So if we have to trade for the buy trade, if we have to go for a buy trade in equity space, the FTSE 100 seems to be the best choice as of now. And if we have to keep looking for the short selling trades, the sell trade in today's session, then Nasdaq is a seemingly winner. So we have this equity space spectrum where the most bullish is FTSE 100 of the United Kingdom, and most bearish is the Nasdaq for the United States. So that's the analysis using the correlational aspects for these equity space. And prior to that, we also saw the forex, in which we have arrived at the conclusion that CHF is the most bearish. So as a result of that, USDCHF can be given the preference for any buy on dip strategies to be adopted if you are expecting the dollar to remain strong throughout the today's North American trading session. And if you are not really convinced with the dollar's momentum and expect the momentum to stall and maybe reverse afterwards, maybe after a couple of hours, then watch out for the EURUSD. The EURUSD is the least bearish instrument in today's session. the euro has been able to hold and add to its prior gains. So that is something to work with if you are expecting the dollar's momentum to weaken and acceleration in non-dollar currencies. So the euro is going to be the first bet to work on that. So that's my analysis of the today's price action which we have seen so far, as we are going to see increased volatility in the first first few minutes of the US session. We are likely to get more clarity also, so you can optimize your trade entries while taking the advantage of these correlational aspects. So thank you all for joining in. Have a fabulous day ahead. For further coverage of the market developments, do check out the Dukascopy Analytics page. We are also available on the Facebook. You can reach out to us there too. For trying out the newly released trading platform, the link has been included in the bio, so give it a try and let me know how it works out for you. Thank you all. See you next time around with the assessment of the price action so that you can optimize the choice of the instrument, and also the momentum should be on your side. So that's why this session is there for your assistance. See you next time around. Goodbye.